Army versus Marines, the Iran War Dilemma, timing, miscalculation, and the lost window. War doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It rewards timing, clarity, and decisive action, and it punishes hesitation. In every conflict, the opening hours shape everything that follows. And when that window closes, the battlefield becomes far more dangerous than anyone planned for. Before we begin, a brief note. This briefing is an analysis of military tactics and strategic decision-making. It is not an argument nor an assignment of blame. Explanation is not endorsement. This is context, nothing more. Let's break it down. The opening strike. In modern warfare, timing is not a detail. It is the battlefield. The opening hours of a conflict determine momentum, who dictates tempo, who reacts, and who recovers. And when the first wave of strikes hit Iran, the objective was simple: blind, disrupt, and disorient. Radar sites went dark. Command nodes fell silent. Air defenses fractured. It was the kind of opening that ground forces, Army and Marines, are built to exploit. But timing slipped. The window narrowed, and the battlefield began to shift. The window. Air power and missile barrages do not win wars alone. It creates opportunity. A narrow window, measured in hours, not days, where the enemy is disorganized, exposed, and vulnerable. This is where ground forces matter. The Army and Marine Corps are built to exploit that moment, to seize terrain, fracture defenses, and force the enemy into collapse. But if that window is missed, the battlefield changes. Iran's decentralized networks repositioned. Militia groups activated. Urban defenses hardened. IED corridors are prepared. Hit-and-run cells moved into place. The shift, what could have been a rapid decisive entry, has transformed into a layered, unpredictable fight. This is the cost of misalignment. When ground forces don't move immediately, disruption turns into adaptation. Even the most capable forces face a battlefield that no longer favors momentum, but resistance. Air defenses reconstitute. Command structures decentralize. Forces reconstitute and disperse. Military nodes reestablished, focusing on asymmetric warfare, underground infrastructure, and regional proxy networks to counter superior conventional forces. What was once a fragile system becomes resilient. Not stronger, but harder to break. The Army and Marine Corps were designed to fracture lines, seize ground, and force the enemy to fight on terms they didn't choose. And once the terrain is reshaped by extended air and missile strikes, making it far more difficult to navigate and control. A different kind of fight. In this environment, the fight becomes complex, not conventional, not linear, a mix of irregular tactics, mobility, and persistence. Hit-and-run engagements, distributed networks, time working against us, not them. The battlefield is no longer shaped by speed. It is shaped by endurance. What could have been a rapid, decisive entry has transformed into a layered, unpredictable fight. This is the cost of misalignment. When strategy and timing fall out of sequence, even the most capable forces face a battlefield that no longer favors momentum, but resistance. The strategic misalignment. This is where miscalculation matters, not because U.S. forces are weak, but because timing was misaligned. Air power created the opening. But without immediate ground exploitation, the advantage faded. And once it fades, it does not return the same way twice. Iran has had time to prepare, and preparation is their greatest weapon. They've studied modern conflicts. They've watched how Ukraine used mobility, deception, and decentralized command to slow down a larger adversary. They've built networks of militias, tunnels, safe houses, and urban strongpoints designed to absorb punishment and strike back from the shadows. Ground forces now face IED belts, ambush corridors, human shields, suicide cells, small unit raids, and hit-and-run tactics, designed to bleed momentum from every inch of terrain. The reshaped battlefield. Extended air and missile strikes don't just weaken the enemy, they reshape the terrain. They collapse buildings, choke mobility routes, create rubble fields, and turn every street into a maze of blind corners and dead ground. What was once negotiable terrain becomes a hazard. And for ground forces, the mission becomes significantly more dangerous. The political clock. Complicating everything is time, not on the battlefield, but at home. Modern operations do not exist in isolation. They exist under political timelines, public scrutiny, and strategic uncertainty. Commanders are not just fighting the enemy. They are managing time, risk, and perception simultaneously. And when those timelines don't align, pressure builds. What comes next? Once the window closed, the mission did not end, it changed. And that change creates a strategic dilemma from the very start. Operations become slower, costs rise, and misalignment becomes a force multiplier for the enemy. Wars are rarely won by air, sea, or missile strikes alone. They're won on the ground by forces that seize, hold, and control terrain. When miscalculations occur, whether through misunderstanding, overconfidence, or poor judgment, strategy becomes misaligned. And in those moments, even the most capable forces face a far more complicated battlefield than expected. The question is not whether the mission can't succeed, is how much harder it becomes when timing is lost. Aircraft losses. In recent days, there have been reports that several U.S. aircraft, including 3 F-15E Strike Eagles over Kuwait, another over Iranian territory, as well as an A-10 Warthog, a C-130 military transport, have been downed, along with separate claims regarding an F-35 incident. According to Al Jazeera and other outlets, those claims remain unverified. The aircraft made an emergency landing after a combat mission, and the cause has not been confirmed. One thing is certain, aircraft losses in hostile airspace are not embarrassments, nor are they black eyes for the U.S. military. Flying into contested environments is inherently dangerous. These moments, while tragic, are not indicators of weakness. They are part of the harsh reality of combat aviation. Whether Army, Navy, Marine Corps, or Air Force, every branch faces the same reality. Every incident becomes a learning point, a data set, a tactical adjustment. This is how militaries refine strategies, improve survivability, and adapt to the battlefield at hand. Most importantly, all pilots and crew members were safely recovered from the contested areas. The final reality: this is the battlefield now. Not the one that could have been. Not the one planners hoped for. But the one shaped by timing, terrain, and the consequences of hesitation. What are your thoughts? Leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is the Sentinel Brief. Thanks for watching.